Okay, great. Okay, great. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay, just loosen up a little bit. Let's work it on the vertical. Great, so a little bit of rotation. Circle in the hips. And changing direction. Right into the knees. And taking the front and back. Right, stepping a little bit wider, sinking down into the middle. Loosen up the hips. Right, a little bit wider, working side to side. Okay, taking one leg forward, stretching into the left. Okay, great. Coming down onto the knee. Stretch into the front. Right, changing the leg. Okay, coming back to placing the hands down, stretching down the shoulders. Coming up onto the toes, stretching and then just shredding the heels at the back of the feet. Right, okay, walking the feet in, bending down, bring the hands up, just do a little bit of pressure against the knees, and pressing in with the legs a little bit. Okay, top. Great, look at the arms a little bit to the side. The shoulders. So loose over one side. Changing the arm. Back over the top. Changing sides. Taking the forearm around the back. Great, changing the arm. Linking the fingers together, holding up through the shoulders. Just widen out the legs, keep that stretch on, just lowering the hips down, drop the head towards the ground, the shoulders. Release the arms, bring them onto the knees, rolling through the spine, looking over the shoulder. Changing sides often. Reaching down the inside of one leg. Reaching up the other hand. To the top. Release it, find the other leg. Reaching it. Back into the middle again. Sit into it. Back into the one. Come in there. Do left up. Feet together. The wrists at the top. Up and down. Right, rolling the arms down. Shaking out the legs. Planting the feet down, loosening the whole body. Great, start making it smaller and smaller. Slowly come to a still position. Perfect. Great. Okay, take a jump. Okay, we'll start nice and basic, just working with the ski, starting the 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈. Just a few on each side. Nice and controlled. Find the ski. Back. Find the ski. And back. Inside it as often. Okay, the main thing here to work on with the basics thrust is this idea that the Joe is basically rolling in an arc. So you've got the basic arc from the Bokken work, which is like this kind of from high to low, arcing down. And in the case of the Joe, you've got an upwards arc running from below to up. this way. What you want to avoid in this case is that the jaw basically stays the same level, and I end up just kind of pushing the jaw through. So try and get a sense that from here, just work on this idea, and just feel that the back arm is basically able to swing through, and the front arm needs to be relaxed enough to allow that to happen. So I need the front arm to be like, if the front arm's tight on the jaw, you end up either squeaking through it, or basically like strangling the weapon, and then doing that kind of movement, which is just a kind of lateral movement. See if you can get that. And I want as much as possible that the back shoulder to really release. So it's in place, but it's just kind of hanging down. No real tension running through. That's it. That's it. Right. And then just start to take your concentration to the front hand. Allow the same thing to happen in the front arm. So the front arm is also rolling up and down, but it's the jaw's passing through the arm, and the arm's doing this kind of movement. So it's relaxed, and the shoulders relaxed. And I don't want the arm to be stuck and in that kind of position. So think about them both moving together. Swing them through. Swing them through. The key thing is keeping that weight underneath, keeping the arms relaxed. So that's it. Good. Want the arc of the thrust to go low and then raise. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Right. Now keep that movement going in the arms and take the concentration down into the feet and the hips. So what you want to feel is that you're not basically doing that kind of motion and basically leaning out of the front leg, but that you're just letting the weight shift through the hips. So the weight in this case is going here, here. But you want to avoid in this case that, where the body's being like pulled away. So the top half of the body's being pulled away. If you think about that kind of motion happening in the body, it's like a kind of rolling wheel from the hip and pressing into the feet. So you want to feel this kind of revolving, but the upper body's kind of staying neutral inside that movement. The jaw into it. And the jaw's really going to challenge that, the ability for the body to stay balanced in the center, because everything's going up at that point and everything's going out. So trying to ground the body in that movement. So shifting the weight, but not necessarily shifting the whole of the body. That's it. Nice. Great. Right, now go to the thrust, and what you want to think about now is there's two ways you can do this movement. You can push out of the ground to find the thrust, or you can let the body compress down to find the thrust. You want to be using really the second force, which is much more balanced, much more efficient in terms of body movement. So think about letting the weight fall down into the back leg, that pressure builds and then releases out through the hip. So just play with this idea as you go into it, keeping the ground as you do it. Keeping the ground. There's a feeling you want to really as if you're falling into the leg, but the structure of the leg, you're just going to hit it and then you can continue the movement out. So So the leg needs to be relaxed enough to receive the weight. So it can't be stiff because it'll basically push me out. So I need to relax the leg, drop the weight into it. So. Nice. Nice. Right, we'll take it to Zengo. So now keep that pressure. Now you've got the weight 50-50 at the end of the thrust. Think about pressing from the back leg, which releases that front hip. So in the rotation, increase the pressure to the back and let that hip free, leave the hip free to rotate. So you've got that pressure into the back leg, drop into here. The best way to practice this is to really exaggerate that movement. So rather than just turning the body like that, think about actually moving in this direction. So you're going to push off that leg and go to this kind of position. So you've got one, push off the leg, find that position. So exaggerate now that pressure down and the rotation. Make it big enough so that you can really feel the difference between being in the ground and pushing out of the ground. You want to really sink down. Sink down and roll the joints of the body. Sink down and roll the joints of the body.
Michael?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I always, for the ski, I have always the idea that, I don't want to do that, so like drawing up this movement, I make a step forward. So like,
yeah.
But do you do that also? Or?
Yeah.
So that this will happen through that, so to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay. So you mean you're opening that up to open that connection. Right. Yeah. In the same, yeah. So it's the
so that it's not an isolated movement, but
right, exactly.
So to say.
Yeah. So I don't want to do two things. I don't want to pull the jaw back and keep that arm static. And at the same time, I don't want to do that and like reach out for it. Because you see this a lot. What happens if I push the arm out, the body does that. And then end up with like a dipping movement. So it's just like you say, I want to basically use that opening, that to open the hand. Yeah, so as you open the hip, open the leg out, let the hand go with that movement. Yeah. So it's this, I don't want to push it, I don't want to pull it, I want to like open that connection out, like stretch it out and then bring it back, stretch it out, bring it back. And it's gonna go with like the whole body. Ooh, pressing into it that way. So yeah. But yeah, trying to keep it away from trying to have it not as an isolated movement. That's really what you're looking for. Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah, and also in the rotation, also exaggerate this feeling. So it's very easy in this movement. This is the challenge of the Joe, is I change the position, the Joe is going up and it's going to this front. So what tends to happen as I rotate, the body raises up and then it loads to the front. And then if I continue this pattern, every time the Joe starts to load to the front and it starts to put a lot of stress, especially on the lower back, and the body's being pulled out. So when you do this pattern, find that position, the Joe's loaded to the front, and then as you switch, really try and get the Joe so that it feels like it's really loaded in the back of the body. So as you thrust in, really balance the body back. So you're drawing to the back as if you draw like a bow. So you're kind of pulling the Joe back to the hip, and then you release it to the front, roll it to the back. But each time I need to really consciously draw to the back hip. Otherwise, that happens. And it starts to become front heavy, the movement. And try as you rotate, draw right to the back here. Awesome. And then the position of the arms will actually facilitate this feeling, being in the back, in the ground, much lower. I want the legs to do a lot of the hard work. I don't want to, the lower back especially, put a lot of stress on it. That's it. Yeah, good. This is a bit more of a subtle point, but it's probably a bit tricky to show, but just watch the difference between here. If I have this kind of feeling, I'm kind of pushing out with the arms, it becomes a bit heavy in the finger area. So it becomes like this, and the fingers basically, if the jaw comes out of structure, the fingers are going to start to try and grip it. Now, at the same time, the same thing happened. If I do like this, the toes also start to kind of grip into the ground. So go into kind of tension. And then all the tension starts to pass up the front of the body. So I end up with this line through the body and into the toes, all kind of tight, and also pass into the neck. Sometimes you see a lot of stress in the neck. But notice the difference between that position and a much more relaxed position, where you're basically loading the jaw in the back of the grip. And I'm trying to get the weight to basically hit the middle of the foot. And then the balance point in the body is much more towards the center line of the body. So just notice the difference between, I get to that and I'm basically gripping now with the toes and the feet, and then the fingers too. And then again, that's going to kind of work up and up and up. And the more I do that, the more kind of everything will kind of raise up. But think about as you do it, getting the jaw in the center of the grip of the palm and the weight hitting the center of the foot. So as you do this, think about that. Rather than that. Now I'm caught in the toes, and then that rotation is really tricky to do. So just think about the weight basically trying to hit the middle of the posture. And it'll be reflected in the hands and the feet mainly. Well, you'll probably notice hands and feet. Especially looking for tension in the fingers, tension in the toes. As much as kind of release it. So the structures all release the ground. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay, we'll take this into the 13th, your kata. So we'll just do the first few movements of it, first 4. So keep all these things in mind as you do this kata. This is especially a good one because it's quite a lot of kind of frontal movements or front heavy movements. So we'll go into this one. Goes here 1 with the thrust, 2 into the hayagashi, 3 rolling back into a block, and then 4 straight back down the center line for the ski. that far. So wedging the line left, wedging the line right, rolling up for the block, and then final in the center. Great. So we'll just work on one thing with this, which is a good thing to train with forms like this, which is this idea of impulsing from the ground through the feet. So the first move is the first time when this happens. So you've got a really neutral position. The weight's loaded into both feet, 50-50. And then from here, you want the weight, the impulse of the movement to come from that back leg this way. So think about, again, the direction down. And again, as if you're kind of falling into the leg there. And I use that motion, that to thrust the body out to the thrust. Same thing here, you've got a 50-50 weight, and then you want to shift into that left leg, and then the pressure comes for the movement from the leg there. Striking again, you've got 50-50. The pressure for the movement increases in the front leg, and to here. And then the same 50-50, now from the back leg, press in, find the thrust. So just really allow that pressure and that impulse to come from the ground. But the main thing is this idea of letting the weight sink in and compress the structure into the ground. Compress it into the ground. Compress. Really taking all your attention to the feet and basically how the weight's being entered into the ground through the legs. Okay, so this is starting with like a thick, heavy connection. So you've got this feeling like you're falling in, the weight shifts in, and then you move through it. pull into the leg, the weight shifts in, and then move with it that way. What I want you to think about now is more this idea of like an impulse. So you want the idea now is that as soon as you press into the foot, the body's going to move with it. As soon as you press, the body moves with it. So you're looking now to bring in the area of the connection from the arms to the hands, but keeping the balance is now essential. And what you want, again, the weight to press down, but as you press, release everything. So the stretcher is now going from a still position, compress, find the movement, press, find the movement, and let just the whole body go with it. So you're looking now for a much more direct connection. So the hands, everything's going to go now, now, now. We're looking really to keep that impulse from the ground, so that the ground connection is primary, but try and now pass the connection through the whole body. Connection goes all together. That's it. Right, we'll go to the next section. So now you're starting from the ski position. So you're in this position. You're going to now go into the hasso. So you're going to open that front leg, open the foot out slightly, just to allow for the hip to open out. And you're going to step in, through, find the rotation. And then from this point, find the hasso to the top. Coming into the strike. And we'll go this far. Up to the back again. Thrusting through. So do a kind of full set. The thrust, open the foot out, find the hasso, striking in, rotate into the back, thrusting. So we're going from now 4, 5, 6, 7, we'll just do a little bit of work in the hasso. So we'll just start this from as if you're going from the saburi, so with a really neutral posture, with the jo out to the front. So what I want you to focus on, in this case, front of the feet, you want to focus on adjusting the back leg. And again, that sense of kind of dropping into the leg. So that sense this is connecting in, and you want to link that pressure out the jo to find that movement. So just focus on this from this position. Adjusting the toes to line up with the direction, and then pressure, weight drop down to that movement. So you want that movement to really function as a block, so it should be heavy in the end of the jo. But that heaviness is going to come from your connections to the ground. So open, and then press into your So you can do this movement in any direction. The easiest place to practice is the idea of just drawing the body back. So you adjust the leg and then press it out this way. So you're adjusting it, pressing it out. So the direction is really clear. You're just adjusting it, finding that position. This is the easiest position to train it from. And adjusting again, falling into the ground, but the structure of the leg just catches the movement, and then that. It's really gonna roll the way through. Yeah. So we'll do another direction. Now you're going to start in 𝒊𝒂𝒏 this way. Now imagine you've got an attacker just at your side, 90 degrees from you, this way. Again, you want to think about slightly opening that front hip out, only slightly, just to allow yourself to find the ground here. You want the toes now to line up with that direction. So as you got this, open it, find that position with the hip. And then the same thing, you want the leg, you want the weight to drain down this line and pass out of the jab this way. So you've got a ski position. Think about the right side, there's an attack coming in. Open the hip out, drop the structure into that leg, and then weight passes through the jab. So your ski position. To the right, open, press the leg, find that up. I really want it to work as a block. That, to the top. That's it. Great. So we'll try and go back to the full rotation. This is the trickiest one because the footwork needs to be mobile all the time. So as you go into this one, again, you've got that ski position. Again, open that front leg out so it allows the hip to basically open out. Now the footwork is coiling in and around, changing position. You want the toes to start to take that direction, but this foot needs to be mobile here. And then from here, pressing into it and adjusting it. So you've got this position, open, and then step through. This foot needs to be mobile here, this position, and then from here, so it's a tricky movement because very easy to get the weight spinning out. So just play with it. That weight. Same structure, but much more mobile now. Quite tricky movement. So we'll try and link these two sections together now. So starting with position 1, position 2. Go skip 1, 2, 3, 4, into the hasso. 5, changing direction. 6, changing direction again. 7, finishing the ski. 8. Now, let's go with that far. So, let's get each. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Okay, we're just going to do the second half. So I want you to start in now after you finish the strike after the hasso. So it's position 7. So you're in 6. Go to 7, 8, then you draw back 9. Through with a block 10, 11, 12, 13. And then just start again in the hasso, in the strike position. So you're at 6. Rotate 7, 8, 9, 10 through 11, 12, 13. Back. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Please, Michael, can you do it again?
Of course.
I don't have the choreography.
Choreography, right? I'll do it again. So you're in this position. You're in the right side. You go rotate to the back. So you're finding a block. You go into the thrust. Draw the jaw back into a gear position. Great. And then from here, you're making a high block up to the top and stepping behind the jaw. So, and then you're thrusting in high. So drawing back into kamae. And then you find a final thrust. So you're in the right side. So 7 for the block. Good. 8 thrust. 9, draw the jaw back. Good. 10 is coming up high for a block, entering in with the body. Good. And then 10 thrusting in high. 11. Now roll the jaw back. Okay. And then thrust to finish. 13. Good. Again.
Okay.
Got it. We go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so we'll just work on one thing, which is the spiral kind of quality in these blocks. So the first movement in this has it. So these are really easy. If I do from here and I do it like this, basically just pulling out like this. This is basically just like a straight. It's circular, but it's basically a straight line movement. So if I meet force with it, I'll basically just hit it, and I'll either hit it and pass it off, or I'll hit it and it will kind of block me. But what I want to do is this quality where I'm going to kind of spiral through it underneath it. So as you do this first one from position 6, rather than that kind of quality, where I'm kind of swiping it out, let the Joe spiral through. So it's doing this kind of motion from the back hip. So it's that motion, this. And what you're looking to do is either capture ski coming into the body and direct it out, or a yokomen coming into the body and the same thing kind of direct it away. But I'm not looking in this case to kind of swipe the Joe away and just kind of block it. It's much more like a spiraling movement here. So I'm looking to kind of screw in and then press out of it. So it's got this kind of quality later. Yeah. Yeah, right. Whoa. Great, and also look at this block on 10, it also has a similar kind of quality. So you're here in the ski, you roll the body back, and then I can do this in a kind of straight line way, which would be like this, instead of stepping through with it. So again, if I meet force with it, or I meet an attack with this, I just kind of, if I just push it out, I'll either miss it, hit it and push it out, or miss it, or hit force and I'll kind of shear into it. So what I want to do in this set is get the hit to coil in and press it through. So you're looking for that same kind of mechanic that you got in the go down strike. You're going to open it out and get that coil happening through. I need the Joe to be pressing out a spiral in that movement. So you've either got like that where the arms go lock in with the head, or you create a little bit more of an elastic connection from the center, and then you can really press weight from that leg out into the Joe. So that's the main quality you're looking for. You're looking for weight to pass into the leg and for it to pass out the Joe. And then you're looking for really like a wedging spiral into the movement. So. Yeah, coils, that's it. And we'll do a few right from the beginning, so all the way through. Keep again nice and basic, nice couple of seconds between each movement. So you've got 1, find the ground, 2, find the ground, 3, ground, 4, ground, 5, ground, 6, ground, 7, find the ground, 8, ground, 9, can find the ground. Nice and calm. Really focus on the weight distribution through the legs. Yeah, and you got so yeah, good. Strike, good. Nice. Great. And then the other way you can look at it, you do the forms the same way, nothing really changes. You just slightly change the intention. So what you want to feel is that every strike now is a finish. So that rather than like as a kind of linked, so there's a kata set, think of each kind of time you thrust or each time you strike, it's an end of one section of the kata. So sometimes you're blocking and then striking. And an example like the first two movements, you're just striking it. But really feel now as you go in, that's an end. And then as you go into the next one, that will be a strike to the head. You can drop it down or not, but feel that it's a finish. And the second one, you've got a block here into a strike finish. The third, you've got an attacker either at the side or the back. You've got the hasso block and a get finish. You've got an attacker at the back, block, thrusting finish. You got another drawing back, in, finish. The last movement, you've got a block and then a finish. So it's the same form, exactly the same kata, you do the same movements, but just slightly change the mind. So you think about kind of finishing each time you strike. So it gets a little bit of sharpness to the form. So you want to finish, move, finish, move, finish. Move, finish. Move, finish. Move, finish. Move, finish. Yeah, good try. Okay, great. Make it a little bit simpler. The last couple of minutes, just play with the first 4 movements again. So against this original form, or the original set, we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what I want you to think about again, use each strike. In this case, you've got 3 strikes, and imagine you're going to do them in to a different attacker, and you can do them to the same direction. You can do them kind of switching focus each time, but play with the idea again. Each time's a finish, but you just got 4 movements now. So 1, finish. You've got maybe another attacker here, finish. You've got another attacker maybe to the back, finish. So just play with it, just slightly adjusting the direction each time, or keeping the same, but the idea now is to basically finish on each strike again. So 1, finish. 2, finish. 3, finish. So that's the last unit. Nice. Nice. Oh. Oh, okay, perfect. We're going to finish another class. Okay, great. We're going to finish. Great. Domo arigato. Gozaimashita.
Domo.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Gozaimashita.
Perfect. Hello.